Hey guys, Happy New Year's, guys. Today is January 3rd, and it's actually 3 a.m. in the morning. Yeah, it's very early. I'm getting my morning coffee in. Cheers, salud, and today's topic is gonna be secret societies. So I don't think I've ever mentioned this. I've touched on my experiences and what I saw metaphysically with as far as the power players go on this planet, but I don't think I've ever properly talked about this topic ever on since I've been on YouTube, and it definitely is an important topic to talk about, because let's just get right into it. There's a trend where when people start waking up metaphysically, spiritually, and waking up into more spiritual knowledge, and they start trying, going branching out, seeking knowledge, seeking more spiritual and metaphysical information, whether it's online, mostly online, but or we're reading books, we're talking to friends. There's a recurring theme where everybody becomes interested in the idea of secret societies, occultic practices, the Illuminati, this kind of stuff, and um, it's a natural progression when it comes to like waking up in this world, in this modern world. When you're waking up to metaphysical and spiritual information, you're going to run into this subject, this topic, and you're definitely going to be curious and be interested in want to know more about it, um, because it's all knowledge and wisdom that's been kept from us. And these people that are part of part of these secret societies are the ones that kind of retain some of that knowledge. And so naturally, as you're looking up meditation, energy, chakras, how to meditate, astral projection, you're also looking up secret government stuff, ETs, UFOs, occultic practices, esoteric knowledge, of the Illuminati, and so I do want to talk about this because it's actually a very fascinating and interesting topic. Um, there are secret societies and practices. If you look at the long span, the long arc of history on Earth with humans, there's plenty of evidence that supports the um, fact that secret societies do exist. And let's say, for example, here, let's look at more recent history. If you look at the Soviet Union, for example, there were all these Masonic lodges who were connected with the Bolshevik Circle, and eventually they overthrew the Tsar, right? If you and that's like the foundation. That was part of the initial foundation of the Soviet Union, the initial formation of it. And if you look at Hitler, for example, pre World War II, but also during World War II, Hitler was very much in it, like interested and involved in many different secret societies, occultic practices, esoteric stuff, occultic knowledge, all of these things. He was so into, and Hitler had a private book collection where I believe it was like a good 10,000 books or more. More than 10,000 books, and a vast majority of those books were all on occultic practices and secret societies. If you look at the SS, for example, they were literally modeled after different occultic rituals and practices. Whenever an SS soldier died, whether it was in line of duty or whatnot, they would take the ring of that soldier, of that SS officer, and they would have a ceremony and then bury it. I mean, it was a whole thing with Hitler and the Nazis. They were so much into this stuff. Um, uh, if you look at religions today, many religions, and different sects of different religions have different branches that are more esoteric and occultic in nature. For example, Islam has the Sufis, right? The Jewish, they have the Kabbalah, and even the Druids, for example, going back centuries and centuries ago. Um, Everything kind of, if you peel away the layers, you're gonna find, whether it's politics or religion, um, you're gonna find some evidence of secret societies and occultic practices. So why is it that people are interested in these things? Why are there secret societies? Well, it's simple. These people are really no different than you and I. in the sense that they're trying to discover the truth. They're trying to find the secrets to life. They're trying to find, you know, what it really means to be in a body, what the meaning of life is, etc., and all the unseen, the metaphysical and the spiritual elements, and there is to being in a body, to having a life. You know, they're aware that there's more to life than just this, right? And working and making money and having a family and home. They're aware there's so much more, and they want that knowledge. And when they get that knowledge, they become, quote unquote, the illuminated ones. And therefore, because they have this secret knowledge, they start taking things over because they're the illuminated ones. They have the knowledge. Um, they start forming secret societies. They start, you know, forming little secret clubs, the Freemasons, the Skull and Bones, etc. Where, you know, Skull and Bones, they were connected with the Bushes and John Kerry, I believe. Many different politicians and heads of state and people with power and authority. So you have these people throughout history who have this knowledge, who manage to obtain, you know, some sort of esoteric or you know, occultic practices, knowledge, etc. And you know, they love symbolism. They love numerology. You know, if you look at Washington D.C., for example, I mean, America is no different than the Soviet Union, than the foundation of the Soviet Union, or Hitler. It's you know, if you look at the founding fathers here in America, um, they were all Masons. And if you look at Washington D.C., you look at the layout, the architectural layout of D.C. It's very symbolic. A lot of symbolism there. You know, we do this just I mean, in broad daylight, right? We do this just as much as the Soviet Union did when the Masonic lodges, who with the Bolshevik Circle overthrew the Tsar, you know, or with Hitler and the SS, like, and everything he did. Like we do, a lot of what we have is similar. Um, America's no different. So you have these people who are quote unquote the illuminated ones, and because they're illuminated, because they have knowledge, they should have the power. And so it's no coincidence that you see people who are part of secret societies like the Masons or the Illuminati, or different occultic practices. It's no coincidence that you see these people that they usually have positions of power and authority in, whether it's government or different private companies or corporations, and then they start going out and taking over different governments, countries, etc., or even the whole world. Um, so, well, how do you? So then you got to ask, okay, that's a really interesting theory. How do you prove it? You know, where's the evidence in this? Which is a fair question to ask. Well, the way I see it is this: things keep happening, right? Negative things that go towards a negative direction keep happening, and yet there's no real explanation to it. For example, take America, for example. Big, powerful country, big economy, big military. America is a great place to live if you are at the top of your class. You know, if brilliant people from all over the world come here to work, come here to you know, network and work with other people to create amazing and innovate and create amazing things and products and services and whatnot. Um, uh, if you know, this America is a great place to be if you're at the top of your class. Whether you're a mathematician, you're a, you know, engineer, you're a scientist, you're a physicist. There's a lot of opportunity here for you know, for people, and so it attracts people from all over the world to come here and work. Okay, so you have this great big country with a lot of smart people, brilliant minds who do things that affect the whole world, right? Whatever happens here ripples out everywhere. So why is it that here in America, and I love this country, but why is it that we have currently a sitting president that's essentially an 80-year-old dementia patient who speaks in choppy and fragmented sentences, who has difficulty expressing themselves, or even talking in general, or speaking? You know, it's absolutely insane. Well, that's really easily explained when you acknowledge that there's a there's a potential presence of a secret society or somebody pulling the strings behind him, and he's just a puppet, right? That's easily explained if you were to factor that in, because things keep happening. You have, and I'm not political in any way. Like I'm not political, right? But let's say, for argument's sake, I am political, all right? And let's also say I'm a Democrat, which I'm neither. I'm not political. I'm not a Democrat. But let's just say I am, okay? And let's say it's 2020, and let's say it's election time. I, as an American citizen, as a voter, if I were voting in 2020 and I was a Democrat, I would at least opt to to elect somebody that's competent and proficient. If somebody had a mental health issue, like a possible case of dementia, I wouldn't ever consider giving that person the nuclear codes, or putting that person in a position of power or authority like the presidency of the United States. And yet, somehow this guy got the most votes ever recorded in the history of the U.S. for the presidency. How is that possible? It seems highly unlikely to me. Highly unlikely. I'm not saying that nobody voted for him. I'm sure people voted for him. But this seems highly unlikely, highly improbable, highly doubtful, right? For somebody like him, who's just so incoherent. He's just absolutely not competent at all. Well, again, that's easily explained if there is a presence of a secret society or somebody pulling the strings and he's just a puppet. It's the same. It's the same with the woke stuff. All this woke nonsense that's going on. All this woke BS. All this propaganda. It's the same with WEF, right? Where WEF is telling people that you're gonna own nothing and you'll like it, or you're gonna eat insects and you're gonna like it because it's healthier for the planet. It's the same with these people like WEF that gather in these secret little clubs and these secret little groups in the Geneva Convention, and get together and discuss how they're going to control the whole world in the next 10, 20 years. So that's all that is. I mean, it's very easily explained if you acknowledge the presence of a secret society and somebody else pulling the strings, and the people like Joe Biden in the presidency, they're just puppets. Um, However, I gotta say, the whole idea behind all of this, I mentioned earlier in the video that they're no different than these people that are part of these secret societies that do these occultic practices, are no different than us, in the sense that in the sense that they're only looking for knowledge. They're truth seekers. They're trying to find the meaning of life. They know there's more to life than just the physical, and in that sense they're no different. However, the knowledge that we're talking about here, the metaphysical and spiritual knowledge, is not meant to be used to control people, to control a population, to enslave, to mentally, emotionally, physically enslave a country or a population. We see this now with so many different facets of our lives. It's meant to help people. It's meant to help give people more sovereignty, more liberty. It's meant to help wake you up. It's meant to help make you more aware and live a fuller life. Because the metaphysical knowledge is like, the metaphysical energy. That's like a muscle that you've never used before, right? And now all of a sudden you're using it. But instead of empowering yourself, or them trying to help empower you, they take that knowledge, they hold it, they retain it to themselves. They think you're not worthy enough to have this knowledge, and then they use it to control people, to control the population, to control a country, to control the government, to control the world. That's what they do, and that's why I like to come out here and talk and share different things on different metaphysical and spiritual topics, right? Because it's about everybody. It's about helping as many people as you possibly can. It's about helping people wake up, become more self-aware. All of it is for your own personal freedom, your own liberty, your own sovereignty, your own self-awareness. But they take this knowledge and they use it to control you, and they use it to control the population. Do I believe that? So you have the secret society, right? These secret societies that control everything. Now the question, like, now you got to ask the question: does that mean there's no free will and everything you do is controlled and blah blah blah? No, I don't think so. I think the world is too nuanced, and I mentioned this before. The world is too complicated. There's too many moving parts. There's so many layers when you start peeling it back to this world, to life on this planet, that no, they don't control every facet of your life and everything you do. And I mentioned this before when it comes to the other side as well, and how the other side can run this side. But I don't believe that every little thing you do is ran and controlled by the other side. It's the same thing with these secret societies and how they want to control you through the governments and the corporations and the media. I don't believe that. I don't believe that. They have complete control over you. It's too nuanced. It's too complicated. There's too many layers to this world. But I do believe that there are trends, right? Trends that happen every decade or so, where they try to lean the general public and push and direct the general public like a wave or a river, and try to make everybody flow into a certain trend, a certain direction, and that's what they do to control people. And the people like that, that are watching this video, watching me, and I'm not trying to make a big deal about myself at all. I'm just saying I acknowledge that people that are watching, you guys are awake and aware, and you guys are broken away from these trends, and you guys have went on to discover and try to find your not just your personal truth, but the real metaphysical and spiritual information out there that'll help you wake up and give you more sovereignty and liberty, and help you become more free as a person, because these people want to control you. They're control freaks. They're abusive, controlling, negative, but they want to control you, and that's the problem. Is that when you have this knowledge, you have this information, it liberates you. It gives you more sovereignty. It also helps you become more self-aware. It helps you become more of who you are as a person, as an individual, as a sovereign spirit. So I don't believe they control everything, but there are trends, and they try to push the general populace into these trends, and to it's everything is more of a statistic to them. So if they have like a good portion of the population, like let's say 90% or 95% of the population going towards a certain way, they're happy. There's always going to be people that are going to break away from what, the matrix, I guess we'll call it. I don't know, the system, the matrix, that are going to break away, and they know that. But they don't let them get too far or too big, because once somebody gets too big and they start speaking against the system, they shut them down, right? All of a sudden, that person is suicided. All of a sudden, that person, whatever. This happens a lot. They're silenced. They're quelled. They're quenched. They shut them up. So you don't want people with influence and with public, that has a public image with influence, to be able to speak too loudly on this, or the people that control everybody are gonna get upset and silence them, and that's the main attribute right there of somebody that's a control freak. That wants to control people. They don't want other people's opinions, and so I believe that the world is too nuanced and complicated for them to control every facet of your life. But these trends, like what you see going on right now with the woke stuff, right? All the woke stuff, and most of it is being perpetuated through left leaning politics. You have the woke ideologies, and you have all these crazy things, and all of it, being done through your smartphones. Everybody has a smartphone now, social media. I really think that's like literally a mental cancer. TikTok, Instagram, all these things that people consume now, that shorten your attention span, right? That make people so anxious, like especially the younger generations, man, especially like the Gen Zs, the teenagers and the kids who now grow up with a really powerful computer in their pockets, right, where they can just pull up anything at any time, and most of the information is just nonsense, and just flooding their minds with just complete garbage. 4 or 5 second dance videos on TikTok, and all of a sudden these kids are hyper ADHD, can't sit still for a second. You can't, like this long format video that I'm making right now that you guys are listening to, these kids aren't going to be able to sit through a 20-30 minute video and take in all that information and absorb it. I mean, they're used to watching a 10-second clip of somebody dancing and doing something stupid over a stupid track, a stupid song on TikTok, and that's what they're used to, and that's what they consume. And so that's a trend right now, is polluting they have a very heavy investment on the youth. They always have, controlling the youth and controlling the perception of the youth. And certain countries do this more than, I think, countries like China and Eastern Europe, these places, they really have a big investment on this, and it's more blatant, it's more overt. Here in America, it's not so in your face, but everybody does, because you got to get them when they're young, right? So, anyway, I don't want to go on a rant too much, but that's pretty much the general flow that they want to push the population. So, when I've spoken of this before in certain bits here and there, tidbits of the power players on this planet. Everything I just said when it comes to secret societies and occultic practices and these organizations like the Illuminati, the Skull and Bones, the Freemasons, the Bilderberg groups, all these people and the presidents, they're actually in the middle. If you look at it like a pyramid structure of power, we are on the bottom. The people that are like the Illuminati people, the presidents, the whatever, the Bilderbergs, these guys are in the middle somewhere. They have a little bit of power, but they really don't. They're puppets as well. On the top, you have people that are the real power players. And I've seen these people for myself with my own metaphysical abilities, with my own metaphysical vision. I've spoken of one time when I astral projected down. I actually, these are the people that use and run and control organizations like the NSA, the CIA. When people think of the NSA, they think of cybersecurity and Russian hackers and all this nonsense. It's like that's what they want you to think, but they're actually involved in much more. They're involved in these things that involve the metaphysical, the energies, the spiritual topics, ETs. The technology from that. I've been followed by them for when I was really waking up, my pineal was really powering up, and I was really seeing a lot of stuff. I got followed in person by these guys a lot back in 2016, 2017, even in 2018, and these guys are actually the ones that have the currently anyway that kind of are running and controlling things right now. I'm going back to what I just said, what I was going to talk about. I astral projected down under the Vatican City. I would do that here and there, and I think I mentioned this on video one time where I saw something quite disturbing. No, not so much disturbing, but just really interesting, I guess. I wasn't too disturbed by it because I kind of knew what I was getting myself into. And again, I'm not making any of this up. When I talk about my personal experiences, I'm not exaggerating it in any sense. This is like almost verbatim what I saw, and I'll try to keep it as honest as possible. I was astral projecting down the Vatican City, and Vatican City has an underground layer that everybody knows about, the public, where they have like a library, but it actually goes much further underground. And what I saw was very far underground, maybe even half a mile, give or take. And I found myself, when you're astral projecting, you're like, your spirit's, away. The images get built right here in the pineal gland energy field, but your spirit is away doing its thing. But when it's like you're in two places at once. You're in your physical body here, and then you're in your spirit body wherever you decide to astral project and go check out. So I was down underneath Vatican City, and I was looking at what I found myself in a big cavern. It was underground. It's like a cave. It was like very wet. The air was very moist. When you get really good, when you get really proficient at using your pineal and astral projecting, not only are you seeing stuff with imagery, you're also feeling it with your heart. You're also tasting it. Sometimes you might be hearing it. You could hear a conversation. All the clairs, clairaudiency, clairvoyancy, whatever, all that comes into play. and when you get really proficient with it. And so I was there, and I was like I was looking around. I was like, wow, this is cool. It's like an underground cave. You got these big rocks, these big boulders, and what I saw was like a pathway in the middle of this big, huge open cave, this cavern, a walkway, and on the end of the walkway it was like almost like a throne, like a chair, and I saw these two Roman pillars. It was like really old, you know, just really cool looking old school like Roman pillars, and in the middle was this chair, almost like a throne, and sitting there was this guy. I'm gonna call him a guy because he wasn't entirely human, but it was male, very masculine energy, and he was like a miniature Godzilla, very muscular, very like big, probably 8-10 feet tall, very old. I felt the energy. It's like this guy's a very old physical body, like this was like an old man in reptilian terms. So I don't know. It could, their bodies, they live a lot longer, so he could have been 800 years old for all I know. I don't know for sure, but all I saw was the muscle definition, the silhouette of the body. I said, "Oh my God, this guy's like Arnold Schwarzenegger in his prime." But imagine, that, and then 10 times more. There was no neck; it was shoulder muscle, and then it's just, insane, like a miniature Godzilla. So you got these um, reptilian beings who. So I looked at him, and I said to myself, I said, okay, this guy is the power player. He's the one running the scenes. This one, he's the real one pulling all the strings behind the scenes. And that was pretty evident. These people that the Illuminati, the secret societies, they actually don't. They also take orders. They're not the real ones behind the scenes pulling the strings. um, that was just one occasion. I've had many other instances where I've been looking around, astral projecting, remote viewing different places, and seeing who um, the real power players are. That one in the Vatican was quite profound. I'll tell you about another like a different instance I had when I was remote viewing. I was remote viewing Buckingham Palace. It was like astral projection, remote viewing, doing a little bit of both. But I was curious about that place, and there was something pushing me to go look at it. So I did, and I went underground. And I found myself going very far underground in Buckingham Palace. I mean, we're talking like a couple hundred meters underground. And I found myself in a very cold, dark, small place, and it was like jail cells. I saw these iron bars, and I saw these jail cells, if you will. Um, and I said, "Oh my gosh, what's going on here? This is like underneath Buckingham Palace. What the hell? This is in the middle of London. Um, this is their White House. And so anyway, so I saw these like small little cells, and then I looked closer, astral projecting. I moved closer to these cells, and what I saw there was very disturbing, very disturbing. I saw children, mostly boys, no older than like 9 years old, maybe, I don't know. And I said, "Oh my gosh, this is fucking nuts. This is crazy." And then I look closer, and they're like, there's like two kids in a jail cell, and they're like back to back, and they're chained together, like literally a metal chain wrapped around them, so they can't go anywhere. I said, "Oh my God." And then I saw one of the kids, and what I kept seeing this image of this kid just yelling and screaming, yelling and screaming. And when I looked at the color of his face, he looked so uh, uh, um, uh, there's a word for it. Pale. No. But bulimic. Just so, like he had no vitamin D at all. Um, no sunlight. Just very pale. And I said, "Oh, that's just terrible. What the hell's going on here?" And my first assumption was, is this like pedophilia or something? Naturally, that was my first assumption. But then I looked closer, and I said, "No, there's something else going on here. Why do they have these kids here? What the hell's going on?" Definitely against their will. I mean, whatever they're doing is horrific and absolutely disgusting. But when I looked closer, and I really observed it, I realized that they were being used for like for blood. Um, There was something about the blood that they were consuming, I believe, certain people within Buckingham Palace. And so those are just examples of my personal experiences using my own abilities to see what's actually going on. And I believe these people are the real power players, not so much the secret societies or the Illuminati, the Bilderberg Group, the Freemasons. These are all people in the middle. These are also people that are controlled and manipulated, just like our joke of a president right now. That is pretty much it for on this topic. Hope you guys enjoyed that or found it fruitful in any way. When I give you guys my personal experiences on things that I have experienced, with my metaphysical abilities, I'm not exaggerating or I'm trying to articulate it and convey it to you guys to the best of my knowledge and ability and memory. But yeah, the secret societies are they definitely exist. But it's just a shame that the knowledge that what it's all about when it comes down, like I mentioned earlier in this video, it's all about finding out that there's more to life, that the knowledge in this world, that there's more to life than just the average, go to school, get a job, get a home, start a family. And it's just a shame that these societies, instead of sharing the knowledge, because you can't control a population when you enlighten them, right? When you empower them with knowledge and wisdom, you can't control them. No, so they keep it to themselves, and they call themselves the illuminated ones. Therefore, we are the Illuminati, and therefore we will start taking over, because we have the knowledge. I've always been about helping people obtain more of their own self-liberty, more of their own sovereignty, more of their own freedom. That's what it's all about. That's what anybody wants, is their own freedom. Nobody wants to be controlled like that. Nobody should be either. So, anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Happy New Year's. I hope this was an interesting video. I know this topic, there's a lot of different branches we could have went off to in this topic. This is a very generalized discussion on the topic of secret societies. There's a lot of it there's a lot of things I don't know about this topic. I'm sure you guys have more knowledge on this stuff. There's a lot of examples that could be given throughout the years of history. I'm sure of it, that could very well also help back up the argument of the existence of secret societies that I'm not aware of. But like using like for example the Soviet Union, Hitler, America, these are just a couple of them that I think are good. So examples of evidence of secret societies. So anyway, thanks guys, and I'll see you guys soon.